Today's video is sponsored by OneFootball. Get all the latest updates from the Premier League and hundreds of other top fixtures from around the world, as well as the latest scores, videos, fixtures, stats, and more for everything related to football. Link is in the description. So welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to today's topic of discussion. Alright, so we're going to step away from Master League, obviously, and talk about the game yesterday. Just to let you guys know, I plan on putting Football Manager out this week, okay? So I have got it, I've downloaded it, I've just got to put some logos in there and get the kit sorted and everything else, and we'll get that going with AC Milan. Hopefully, maybe tomorrow or Friday. Either way, it'll be Master League tomorrow or Football Manager tomorrow, and then we're going to start to alternate. So looking forward to that. But anyway, let's talk about yesterday, shall we? Let's talk about Manchester United against Paris Saint-Germain. Now, before we get into this, the reason why I normally only put out videos like this after United lose is because there purely is more sort of discussion. You know, when you're winning matches, you're not really thinking about too much and you can't criticize anyone. And of course, you can praise the side. And I've been impressed with the way United have been playing. But when you lose a match, you tend to you talk about things that I think are needed. And you kind of see, you know, exactly how far United have to go or have come, or rather, can they improve this, that, and the other. So that's why we're talking about Manchester United today after they lost yesterday 2-0 to Paris Saint-Germain. So, this was the issue, I feel, overall. And let's just generally talk about the match itself. The first problem, and I think everyone knows the first problem, the referee. I mean, come on. How bad was this referee? I mean, the decisions he was giving. Yes, there were some fouls. Yes, some were yellow cards. But, first of all, how you can honestly send off Paul Pogba. Yeah, the game's finished. It's late in the match, so that really makes no sense. It wasn't a reckless challenge, okay? If the referee knew what he was doing and he had any kind of assistance from the assistant referees, he would have realized that Pogba was clearly just trying to shield the ball and poke it with his foot. You know, his foot wasn't raised to his head. He wasn't elbowing him in the face. Dani Alves got there before him, and fair enough, it was a free kick. But it was not a second yellow card, because Kimpembe should have been sent off a long time ago. I mean, he didn't care. After he got the yellow card, he was still playing the same way and getting away with murder. I mean, he fouled Rashford one time, completely pulled him from behind. Referee gave nothing. There was another instance there, the referee gave nothing. It was just so inconsistent by this ref. He shouldn't be allowed to referee another Champions League game. It's as simple as that. Pogba's card should be rescinded. That should be taken away so he can play for the second leg, or ban Kimpembe as well and have both of them suspended for the next match. Honestly, and they're not going to do that. Of course not. Pogba's been sent off, 2 yellows, it's done. But the referee was the first main problem in this fixture. He was terrible, and I'm sure you guys will agree. So let's talk about the match itself, and, you know, I'm not going to sit here and criticize Solskjaer as a manager, okay? He lost his first game, it's fine, because, look, you lost to Paris Saint-Germain. Still, they didn't have Neymar and they didn't have Cavani, and I think that's the worrying thing, isn't it? The fact that United lost 2-0, only had one single chance on goal, apparently, on target. I don't even know if they had that much. They had 10 attempts, although half of them are just dreadful. You know, they were missing Neymar, they were missing Cavani, and yet Man United really were just outclassed. But they didn't perform. You know, it wasn't a case of, oh, PSG are that much better. I think tactically, PSG did get it right. I mean, they played 3 at the back. It was a 3-5-2 sort of formation, or even sort of a 3-6-1, or a 3-4-3. It was more like a 3-4-3. Di Maria down one flank, of course. Mbappe was playing through the middle, and then there's Draxler, there's a couple of other players. Dani Alves was playing more of an advanced role. But Man United, first of all, let's talk about Martial. I mean, this is the thing with Anthony Martial, and the reason why he's never going to be that, you know, next Ronaldo or next Henry or whatever you're going to talk about. Because he's so inconsistent. I honestly didn't even notice Martial had a single touch in the first half. You know, he was going to come off because he was going to get, you know, got injured or whatever. Then he stayed on. Then he came off. Then Lingard came off, of course. And then Martial was off at half-time. But Martial was just, he was non-existent. I mean, he was on the left-hand side. Okay, you're playing left flank. That's fine. But if you're going to play in that role and you're not getting the ball, you have to work for it. You have to find a way to get involved. There's nothing worse, and I'm sure if you guys have played football, I've played it myself. You know, I've played at sort of a semi-pro level, nothing too extreme. But if you don't get the ball early and you're not getting touches and you're not getting some confidence, it's just going to go downhill from there. You know, when you're in a different atmosphere, it's a Champions League game. There's more pressure on you to perform. Get the ball early. If it means you have to drop off 15, 20, 25 yards to get a touch, then do it. He didn't. Martial stayed out wide, and it was like he had strict instructions, like Mourinho style, that he wasn't allowed to free roam and get the ball. We saw it from Lingard. That's what Lingard does. Lingard doesn't play necessarily out wide all the time. He'll come in, he'll get the ball, he'll collect it, he'll run. Actually, Man United looked more of a threat when Lingard was on the field. The second half, when he was taken off, that's when we had the problems. That's when we conceded the 2 goals. You know, and you compare the likes of Martial, and you compare him with the likes of Mbappe. You know, Mbappe is, I would say, a better, more complete footballer. Even Rashford struggled, but because Rashford had no real support. Mbappe had the likes of Di Maria. Even Dani Alves was making runs down the flank. You know, they had the solid foundation of the middle of the park. I mean, Verratti was quality. Marquinhos did a good job in there. Draxler. Everyone in PSG was just working together, and you could see that. Yesterday, Man United looked disjointed. And it was worrying from the perspective of this is the highest that you're going to get. It's the Champions League. You want the best from your players, but a lot of the players went missing. And I also didn't really appreciate the way we were attacking. Because we were trying to play down the flanks, right? We were trying to get the ball down the wings. How many crosses we had, I don't know. I'm sure it's in the double digits. But how many actual attempts from those crosses did we get? Hardly any. And why are we whipping the balls in to players that aren't going to win the headers? I mean, Kimpembe is 6'2". I'm sure Silva's pretty tall as well. We're not going to compete. Rashford's not going to win those headers. Lingard's not going to win them. Martial's not going to win them. Unless you've got Pogba in there, and Matic never really gets in the box. The game plan just, it was wrong from that perspective. And I was saying to myself, especially in the early second half, get Lukaku on. If we're going to play that football, if we're going to whip him in time and time again, we need someone who is powerful, can hold the ball up. I know Lukaku's touch isn't the best, but still, Lukaku is a player that will be a bit of a nuisance with the balls coming in, and then maybe we'll get a ricochet and it'll come back to Rashford, he can finish it off, or Martial, whoever's playing. But yesterday, we didn't do that. He didn't want to bring Lukaku on, okay, but it wasn't really working. I mean, let's talk real quickly about Alexis Sanchez. What has happened to him? I mean, come on, he's literally gone from here on the decline. I mean, literally just straight down over the last couple of years. He looks like he's not interested. Like he doesn't want to be out on the field, and it's sad because he is a good player. Well, he used to be a good player, I guess, but he's just lost the plot. Every time he gets the ball now with Alexis, you think, what's he gonna do? I think he lost the ball 5, 6, 7, 8 times yesterday, and I don't know. I almost feel bad for him, you know, because he's going to get a lot of stick. He is. And, you know, he did score a goal not too long ago, and it was a decent goal. Went round the goal in, he slotted it in. But he just seems disjointed, no confidence about him, not interested. And, you know, as much as he tries to work and work and work, Alexis Sanchez has just gone down the jacksie, hasn't he? It's bad, you know. And as I say, I feel bad for the guy, because he was a good player, and something's got to click for him. I don't know, maybe Man United isn't suited for him. Maybe another team, maybe Arsenal was better. They played different kind of football, but either way, Alexis Sanchez, you put him on, we saw nothing. I mean, Juan Mata came on. You know, Mata's technically a good player, technically gifted, but is Mata going to change the game? Not really. It was just poor overall yesterday, and you know, yes, we lost to PSG. PSG are a good side. But, you know, I saw PSG's lineup and I thought there's a chance there, you know, especially the way United have been playing. You fancied Man United to at least, I mean, I thought they win 2-1. I put a prediction on Twitter. I thought they win 2-1. I thought we'd at least score a goal. And now, you know, we've got to go to Paris and we've got to score at least 2 goals and not concede. And the problem is, and I think we all know, Man United defensively are lacking massively. I mean, you know, Lindelof can only do so much. Bay is hot and cold. I mean, one game he'll play well, then he'll be all over the place. He's very hot-headed, Bay. You know, if he's not in the moment and he does something rash, he could get a yellow, then a red. You don't know with him. You know, we've got Ashley Young down the right-hand side. You know, he's good at crossing, but you know, these aren't world-class defenders. We need to bring in a world-class defender in the summertime. I mean, I really think Man United ultimately need just 3 world-class players. You know, defensive, midfield, and attacking, and work it around that. Yeah, we have Pogba, but you saw yesterday, you know, he lacked the service. You know, he'll have his moments where he made a couple of good moves, couple of good runs, but still, we're just lacking. I mean, yesterday just showed. I think it just showed to me how far off the boil we really are. And it's nothing to do with Solskjaer. I mean, he can put out the team. He can put out the lineup. He can say, lads, go out and play. Just go and play football. And they tried, and they just didn't look good enough. I mean, I was really, really disappointed with Martial yesterday. It's like he couldn't be asked. He wasn't running around, wasn't getting involved, and then he came off. It was a really poor performance from him, especially after the goal he scored in, you know, weekend, which was a fantastic goal. Brilliantly crafted. But there's your difference, you know. You're playing Fulham, and then you're playing PSG. There's a big difference between the two. Maybe, you know, United finally losing a game now. They'll have a little bit of pressure off them, but they've got big games to come. I would expect them to bounce back, though, against Liverpool, because, you know, that is a big, big, big game, and they're going to want to try and redeem themselves. So if I'm a Man United player, and I've just played like that, and I've seen the way we've played, we have got outclassed, because, honestly, PSG, they could have scored 4 or 5, and then, you know, the second leg would be done. But I want to bounce back. I want to prove myself. So we'll see what Man United are made of, you know, next weekend, when they do face Liverpool. But yeah, just overall, a big disappointment from a United fan. I just didn't see the passion there. Certain players were trying, yes, but some players just couldn't be bothered, and I think we just didn't look the part. Oh dear, back to the drawing board, I guess. But anyway, you know, you take positives from it, you take the negatives, you go forward, you progress, you try and improve, and that's all Solskjaer can do. It'll be interesting to see how he handles it, you know, and what people will say about it. I know what they'll say. Oh, he's not fit for the job. Now, it's one game. You know, it's one game. Let's not get carried away here. He's only had the team a couple of months, or not even that. And there's still a long, long way to go with him. So, we'll see. The next couple of weeks, especially the next month and a half, with all the big games to come, that's when we'll see what Manchester United are made of. Anyway, hope you guys did enjoy it. Let me know your thoughts. I'm interested and intrigued to see what you guys have to say about the performance, because I just, like I said, I feel it was poor, disjointed, and there were certain players that just couldn't be asked, really, and we got a kick in the face, and we got a reality check. I think that's the main thing, a big, fat reality check of just how far we really are at the moment in the Champions League. But until next time, maybe we can make a comeback in the second leg. We'll see. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.